with Hanson Hauling and Excavating being the low bidder in the amount of $1,334,975.25. We will use state aid funds and local fund 61 to fund this project, and we would recommend awarding the bid to Hanson Hauling and Excavating.
Thank you. Council, anything? If not, we need a resolution for
So
6.
move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 7 is a resolution receiving bids for asphalt street reconstruction on 5th Street Northwest and 12th Avenue Northwest. Stephen?
This project was, again, bids were opened on that same day. We had the same two contractors bidding the work, and again, Hanson Hauling and Excavating was the low bidder at $1,043,310.62. This project would be funded with local fund 49, 61, and 67. Those are described below in your handout. We would recommend awarding the contract to Hanson Hauling and Excavating.
Council, anything?
So move the resolution.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher. Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 8, under petitions and requests is a resolution accepting donations to the city. We do this every other week. Need a resolution.
So move the
Is
resolution.
there a second? Second. Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 9 is a resolution approving a contamination cleanup grant with deed. I have Mark and Craig. Mark, why don't you come first? You're our guest. Well, you've been here so often, you're almost a member,
enough,
but you're
I
still a
guess.
guest.
All the fun around here. Mayor, council members, we have a grant that we're applying for with deed to assist in the demo / cleanup. We need a resolution from the city to include in this application, so we're looking for the city council to give support for this deed grant, and there'll be monies available, we hope, if we're approved.
Okay. Craig, do you have anything to add?
No.
I have a question. It just wasn't clear to me in the materials, but the city's role in this project is just as essentially the sponsor. We don't have to come up with any funds out of our budget for this project. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
We're just a pretty face, right?
Actually,
Checkbook.
we're actually applying for money in a grant. Yes, okay.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 10 is a resolution approving a contract for ceiling tile replacement in City Hall. Looks pretty good to me, Tom. What's
This stuff looks good. It's the stuff that has a little rain coming through.
we're okay.
Yep, this is just on the main floor area and some other smaller areas on the newly remodeled side that we did not get new tile in. We received 2 quotes, one from Country Acoustics. They're the entity that subcontracted with Wagner that did the first half of the remodel. We also received a quote from Ceiling Pro. The low bid was Country Acoustics for $8,775, and we'd request approval of such.
Council.
So moved.
Second. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at-Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor, although we may not get that done until like October based on the weather forecast. So.
Sure. Yeah, it's got to stop snowing first. Okay, 11 is a resolution approving a revised agreement for public meeting recordings. Tom and Trish. I don't know, Trish, why don't you say something, then we feel needed.
Okay, Mayor, Council, so number 11 there for the agreement with the revision for the individual who provides our taping, our contractor for that, of all of our public meetings, including the City Council, Planning Commission, and the School Board. And increase in per hour, which hasn't happened in several years.
Okay. Council, anything? If not, we need a resolution for 11. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
And Trish, another one for you. 12 is a motion approving a revised part-time firefighter policy. Trish and the chief. I don't know if Jim want to add anything when she's done.
So this is a revision to our current policy we have for firefighters who are also City of Austin employees, our paid-on-call firefighter who's also full-time employees. We hadn't had an exempt individual who was a paid-on-call firefighter, so this now, the revision specifically adds the exempt employee status into that policy.
Council? We need what do we need?
A motion.
A motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 13 is a motion and an ordinance reviewing a rezoning request petitioned by BWBR on behalf of the City of Austin and Austin Utilities. Holly?
Your Honor and Council, at the April 10th meeting of the Austin Planning Commission, the commission reviewed the request you mentioned. The first is the rezoning. There are 3 items. The rezone request is to change the zoning from an I-1 limited industrial to B3 central business district. This action has been requested to accommodate the proposed development of a community recreation center and to bring the area into line with our 2016 comprehensive plan. The property is bordered by the Cedar River and Mill Pond on the north and east, Public Library to the west, and City Hall and Accenture Credit Union to the south. The Planning Commission, with 9 members present, recommends approval of the rezoning request by a unanimous vote. The Planning Commission found that the use is compatible with the surrounding uses and zoning. The proposed zoning is consistent with the goals, policies, and future land use map of the comprehensive plan, and that no significant impacts are anticipated with regard to the existing infrastructure and surrounding environment.
Council, anything? If not, we need a motion for preparation of the zoning ordinance.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then we need an ordinance. Jeff, you do this.
Move for adoption and publication of the ordinance.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 14 is a resolution approving the final plat for the downtown plant. Holly?
The area was platted to accommodate the proposed recreation center. The primary purpose of the plat is to delineate the boundaries of the property, create legal descriptions, identify easements for public utilities, and locate roads. After review with 9 planning commissions present, they voted unanimously to approve the final plat of the downtown plant with following conditions: that additional easements would be entered into a separate agreement. The city will enforce development standards as usual, and permitting will be obtained as needed.
Council, anything?
Mayor.
What, you? Go ahead.
Holly, I know there was some question about the reservation of the water tank and the substation. Has that been addressed?
If you can look at your documents, there is a proposed plat, and it creates 3 lots out of what was several. The Lot 1 would be the area that would include the recreation center currently planned. Lot 2 would retain the substation, I believe, and then Lot 3 would be the area where the reservoir and the pump house are located. Those structures would be removed at some point. I understand there are people here from the utilities who can talk more about that, but in the meantime, that would just give them control over that property where those structures still exist.
The substation's going to stay forever.
Okay.
The water tank will be removed.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Not, we need a resolution for 14.
So moved.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Helly.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 15 is a motion reviewing a parking lot appeal petitioned by BWBR on behalf of the City of Austin and Austin Utilities. Excuse me, Holly?
Yeah, so in light of the approval of the change to B3 zoning, the Planning Commission, again, did review the parking request with the presumption that the B3 zoning would be approved. The property will have 116 spaces short of the 200 spaces required. The code requires 1 stall for every 500 square feet of building. The petitioner is requesting to decrease the requirement by 92 stalls, taking into account additional parking provided within 300 feet of the site, specifically the Riverside Arena parking lot offering approximately 175 parking spaces, and there's more detail about how that number was arrived at in the parking memo that the city engineer, Mr. Lang, had submitted. The parking proposed would be 56% of the required parking with additional parking located in Riverside Arena. The B3, under our B3 zoning ordinance, it allows a waiver of 100% of required parking when in the board, which is the council's opinion, there's adequate off-street parking capacity or public parking is available within 300 feet of the building. And that's because the B3 zoning district is our central business district, and that area is always going to be a little more difficult to find parcels where there would be adequate off-street parking. So the idea of sharing parking within the area with other uses is common in that district.
Council?
I just have a question about, for example, the library, library parking lot. Is going to be signage or something to indicate that, you know, it's not all taken up by...
I think I'll pass this off to Mr. Lang.
Yeah, we're likely, I added a couple things in my report saying there are going to be some things that the city is going to have to do, like sign the library parking lot, and also our city hall lot here. There likely would be overflow parking that would want to park in our lot. So we'll probably have to do some signing for those businesses only, or some sort of signing for that. And we'll also work to improve the signage for overflow parking for the Riverside lot as well. Sign it with the blue signage that we started downtown a couple years ago for public parking. Try to make that more noticeable for overflow parking.
Anybody else? Now we need a motion.
So move.
Is there a second? Who's second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 16 is,
Let's review that again.
oh, 16 we did, okay, yeah.
Let's rehash.
I have to plan another night.
Why not? Let's go back at that.
We'll go to 17.
You sure you don't want to do it?
One
We
more
can play
time?
the tape. We're going to play the tape. 17 is a resolution approving an annexation request from the Alano Society of Austin. Holly.
So Alano Society at 1504 10th Drive Southeast has requested annexation of their property by the city of Austin to access city services, specifically sewer. The Alano property is approximately 2 acres, is located in Austin Township. The property is currently designated as commercial in the county, and the recommendation in the resolution is that it be designated as B2 upon annexation. Once annexed into the city, the sewer connection fees would be paid by the Alano Society. And this is in an area where we just had an annexation not long ago. Another property to the south of this property will probably annex as well, or request annexation. It just hasn't been possible to get them all together to do it at one time.
Council? Let's see where we're at. Anything? So, okay, we're all set with infrastructure and everything, right? Okay. Then we need a resolution for
So
17.
moved resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Austin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Hagan,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
18 is a resolution in support of the J.C. Hormel Nature Center being designated as a regional park or trail destination in greater Minnesota. Kim.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the first step of us putting in our application to the state of Minnesota on our planning side of the Nature Center to become designated. So I would like you to approve that, please.
Council. Anything?
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Austin,
Aye.
Helly,
Aye.
Hagan,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
And 19 is a series of motions granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract for the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at the following locations. A, 1603 3rd Avenue Northwest, Intrust. Which one? Oh, 1608 3rd Avenue Northwest, Intrust property. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? B, 1024 Second Avenue Northeast, the Con property, need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And finally, C, 1108 Second Avenue Northwest, the Oasis property, need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're finished with our scheduled part of the meeting. Are there any citizens present tonight that wish to address the council on anything? Yes, sir. You have to give us your name and your address.
Chad Groh, 706 Fifth Avenue, Southwest in Austin. And I've been working a little bit with Steven on this, and I don't know if he's ready.
It's next.
It's next.
It'll be after this meeting.
Okay, all right, that's all.
Planning at the,
Work session.
Be in the work session.
okay. Anybody else? If not, we're to reports and recommendations. We'll start with Paul tonight.
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Dave?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Millard?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Janet?
Taste of Nations is being held April 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Austin Armory. It's to show, celebrate a lot of different ethnic groups from, Norwegian to every German, Spanish, Karenni, all kinds of food, dance, art. So it's great, free, open to the public.
And if you haven't been there, it is quite an event. It's
Yeah.
quite fun.
Mark your calendar.
Jeffrey?
Gosh, it's been such a short meeting, I feel like I should add something to it, but
Like the old days.
Yes, I have nothing, Your Honor.
Steve?
I'm going to give Judy enough time to talk, so I'll have nothing, Your Honor.
Judy?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, Craig, do we have anything?
Tomorrow night, welcoming Austin and the Human Rights Commission that they've been working on, having a community conversation, would welcome any of the public to attend. It's at the historic Hormel home from 6 to 8. It'd be good to have you, and Kim and Brian have a couple items.
Thank you. So I'd just like everybody to know that April 21st to April 30th, you can pick up your favorite green space. Just come on to the Park and Rec, get some bags and some gloves, or call us and let us know when you're going and where you're going. Pick a nice sunny day. Maybe the snow
what
is
are the
going to go
dates?
away. April 21st to April 30th.
Bring your snow shovels.
I hope not.
Okay, is that it? Brian?
I was just going to advise council and mayor that tomorrow we will be starting a new officer. He is from New Richland, and he will be starting tomorrow with his in-house, so we will be welcome. His name is Michael Hullapeter.
Okay. All right. If there's anything, that it? We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We'll take a short break and
Meet in the other room.
meet in the other room.
Really?
All right. One gauntlet. Yeah.
Duration.
Just got back from here.